The recording has started.
And Allie, yourself, what's going on with you?
Oh my gosh, so many things. So many things. I'm so excited for everything that we filmed a couple weeks ago. I'm so jazzed for those episodes to air. I think people would be really happy and excited. It's been good. I've been so busy. I feel like I have not had a break between Impact and Indies, and I've been very busy.
All right. Well, we will open it up for media questions, but first, I do have to ask both of you two. We're a couple weeks away. I'm going to put the pressure on BS first. What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
Oh,
yeah, BS. BS. What do you have planned for me for Valentine's Day?
This is going to be the most boring answer of all time. I don't know, man. We're real homebodies. Like, whenever we get the opportunity to stay home, we do. Mainly, a lot of it has to do with our dog, because he can't stay home by himself for 10 minutes. Otherwise, he howls, and our neighbors go insane. So whenever we can stay home with him, we do when we're not traveling. But
why don't you make me some vegan pizza, Braxton?
You make the vegan. Allie makes incredible
But it's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. I think maybe you should roll up your sleeves and try to make some vegan pizza for your wife.
it would be terrible. Like, I'm not vegan, and like I prefer Allie's vegan pizza over actually ordering out for actual pizza. Like, it's awesome. She puts maple syrup on the crust. It's sweet, man. So if
I'll make it for you one day, Ross.
It'd be a disaster.
That is a deal. I will take you up on that, Allie. And do I know, Braxton, you were talking about a bunch of chocolates and roses. Is that? I assume that's a given. That you had mentioned me down.
Yeah, that's those are cliche answers. That's that stuff's a given. But if we do it, it'll literally be, we might go to the
BS
movies.
knows the way to my heart. BS knows the way to my heart. Do you know what the way to my heart is, Ross? It's coffee and food.
Well, I was going to say chocolate there. I was at least in the right direction.
Yeah, you're in the right range.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, first and foremost, this is Big Ray for OneWrestling.com, and I just have to say off the bat, Braxton, how much better shape are you going to get in, number one? Seriously.
Big Ray, man. This is great.
What's going on, bud? How are you?
Dude, I'm just trying to go backwards in time. You know what I mean? Just like get better with age, like a fine wine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's a 12-pack instead of an 8-pack. Wonderful. Okay. So the question is actually for both of you, and it's kind of a, well, all right. For Allie, your character has evolved so much in such a short time. My question for you is, what's going to be next in the evolution of Allie? And for Braxton, my personal and humble opinion is that you have absolutely been, in my humble opinion, underutilized in that company. And I know the work that you do, and I think you're absolutely fantastic. Yeah. So I just wanted to know where you guys see yourselves moving forward, and you guys are like the best.
Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you.
Just being honest.
BS, do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's been really neat about the whole Allie character, and it was such a drastic change from what I was doing on the Indies before Impact. I don't know if anybody followed me as Cherry Bomb, but Allie and Cherry Bomb are just two completely different characters, like totally night and day. And it's been really cool to sort of be a part of this evolution of the character, and for me personally to come in as Maria's apprentice, and then slowly, start to fight back and learn how to wrestle, quote unquote, and then to actually work up the courage to go after the Knockout Championship has been like a really cool journey for me. And I think obviously the next step would be to win the Knockout Championship. I think that would be very cool for the character and for myself.
Braxton?
With what you were saying, I agree. I definitely think I can do more. But now at the same note, I'm gonna kind of carry off here for a second. Like, everything can't be at a high all the time. Like I don't know, take like The Walking Dead for instance. Like I always like a lot of times my big like problem with The Walking Dead is like they'll have really really good episodes, but then they have their filler episodes, and like a lot of people say, it's like because it can't be high spots all the time. You know what I mean? You have to have your lulls. And I mean, a lot of good guys have gone to a lot of big companies, and they might start off hot, they drizzle down, then it goes somewhere else. You can't appreciate the highs without the lows. So for me right now, I really haven't gotten a chance yet to do what I think I can do, but it's coming, and once it does, I'll take that platform and I'll take off.
Thank you guys so much.
Ray,
Thank you.
Good to hear from you.
Good to hear from you too, guys.
Good morning to both of you. David Dunn from the New Zealand Pro Wrestling Informer here. My question is for Allie. Allie, you and I are of a similar age, and it feels like when I was growing up there was sort of a lot of negative stereotypes around vegans. But as the times change, there's a sort of a growing movement within the wrestling community, I guess just within the general public, that veganism's an acceptable lifestyle now. What does it mean to you to be out there as a vegan, as a very public figure, and sort of be out there on a world stage representing veganism?
That's a great question.
Good question.
I like
yes,
this question.
Good question.
Well, veganism is something that I'm very passionate about. People ask me this all the time, like, are you vegan for the health benefits? Is it for animals? Is it for the environment? For me, it was always for the animals. Even as a kid, I had a really hard time eating meat. I went vegetarian when I was 14. And so to be able to use the small platform that I do have to promote a vegan lifestyle and a vegan diet is really cool. And it's neat because I have a lot of people that ask me questions about it. Like, they're interested in it, but they're not sure, like, how to start or what to eat and all these things. And it's really been cool for me to be able to talk to these people and give them advice and to actually see, like, I remember when I was years ago, it was hard to find any kind of vegan options. Even though I was a vegetarian, I would look for things like alternatives to mayonnaise and cheese and things like that, and the options that were available were awful. So to see how much the movement has grown and it's become a lot more mainstream now, it is pretty exciting, and I think more and more people will start to turn to the plant-based lifestyle. At least I hope so.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess, Allie, we should have a little follow-up question on the vegan front. Clearly, this past time in Orlando, we had a newcomer who certainly speaks very highly on that vegan world, and you got to, I believe, go to a brunch with him, or a breakfast. I apologize, I don't remember which one it was, breakfast or brunch.
Yeah, it was a brunch. It was so cool because, like, me and Aries have been, like, social media friends, but I've never met him really. We never really talked, and we were like two peas in a pod. We were just chatting all about the vegan lifestyle and vegan options and the food we like. It was awesome. It was great, and the food at this place was, oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was so good. We had chicken and waffles and biscuits and gravy. Oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Now, Kimmer, did you say, like, did they have, like, healthy stuff, or did you guys just eat kind of like you said, like gravy and waffles and?
Yeah, it was a little bit unhealthy, but delicious. We were both laughing and joking about it because we were trying to not eat all of it because we both knew we had to wear spandex. So we were like, let's just take little bites.
Well, media, as long as we do mention Austin Aries, I will give you the scoop now. Next Thursday, right here on the Impact Wrestling Media Teleconference, Austin Aries, next Thursday. That will be at 2 o'clock Eastern Time next Thursday.
Good stuff.
Hey, guys, it's Jeremy Bennett with Sportskeeda.
Hi.
This is for both you guys.
Cool.
Mixed tag teams are becoming increasingly popular all over pro wrestling. We've got the Mixed Match Challenge. You had the rise of Joey Ryan and Candice LeRae. Would you guys like to see Impact Wrestling have more mixed tag matches where you guys can team up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I refer back to the indies only because I don't know who knew us on the indies and who didn't, but BS and I were a team on the indies. Not so much wrestling. I usually managed him, but we did have the opportunity to have some mixed intergender matches. And I would love to share a ring with BS. That would be an impact. I think that would be so much fun. And we have good chemistry, like just natural chemistry. So I think it would be a lot of fun to kind of explore that dynamic more in Impact.
Yeah, again, I mean, intergender wrestling definitely has something special to offer. You know what I mean? And there's definitely, like you said, I mean, like with it growing, there's definitely a market for it now because there's been so much attention on it because it's like a lot of things. Like as long as it's done right, it's awesome. It's something different. It's super cool to watch.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So do we ask each of you two to name somebody who you would team with if it wasn't the other one?
Oh my God! Well, since we're talking about Aries, I feel like me and Aries would be a good tag team. We'd be like the vegans taking over.
Bro, so you trying to ruin Valentine's Day? What are you doing?
Come on, you said you basically are going to do nothing for Valentine's Day, so I'm trying to,
Sorry, BS, I just threw you right under the bus there.
Somebody got to throw it in the toilet. Come on, man. You're going to ruin the rest of my day here. I'm going to leave that one open-ended if you don't mind.
All right. That could get you just as much in the doghouse as anything, and I'll keep going. Make sure you stay out of it.
Hi there, this is BQ from the Impact Lounge. My question is for Braxton, but first I want to say to Allie, someone passed me a veggie and hummus plate at dinner last night, and I couldn't pull the trigger, but maybe next time I'll give it a shot, but couldn't pull the trigger this time.
Hummus and veggies, that's delish. Next time, you better try it.
Next time I will do it.
All right.
So my question is for Braxton. First of all, I want to say I'm a very avid listener of Kicking Ass with Jesse and Andy. I think it's really awesome to hear your personality shine when we're not always privileged to get that on television necessarily. So it's kind of a two-part. How did the idea of the podcast come about? Because it's wrestling-centric, but not about wrestling necessarily. And will we ever hear Allie on it again? That was my favorite episode. I think she even cursed on it.
pretty wild stuff, huh? Sorry, there's a couple questions in there. First, I was actually just thinking about having Allie on again. I was thinking about it today. We'll probably have her on again soon. The idea for it came about because my co-host Andy Williams I went to high school with a hardcore band, Every Time I Die, who in Buffalo, I've been wrestling for 20 years, and they've been touring. They're from Buffalo, and they've been touring the world doing music for 20 years. So Andy, I knew through those guys. He's been playing guitar. He's a big wrestling fan. So the idea was for us doing the podcast. It's the combination of it's not just a wrestling podcast. With us, me being in wrestling, him being a fan, and now Andy's getting into wrestling too. But we talk a lot of wrestling, and then basically the travels of wrestling and the travels of music.
We talk a lot about music too.
Yeah, we bring those two worlds together because I always like to say any form of entertainment like wrestling, music, comedy, acting, a lot of it is the same path, and a lot of it is very similar. So I enjoy talking about all those different aspects. So we try to bring all that stuff together. Yeah, and we both have eccentric personalities, which I think come out too.
If you'd like to ask a question, your request has been received.
Hi.
And I know you guys said you didn't have too many extravagant plans for this Valentine's Day, but have you guys done anything extravagant in any past Valentine's Days?
Oh my God, I feel like this is gonna make us sound like the worst, most boring couple on the planet.
The most boring people.
We're the most boring people. No. It's okay. For real, one of our favorite things to do is watch horror movies. It's the one genre of film that we both agree on. So usually, anytime we have a chance to be home together, which is not all that often, we're both traveling a lot. So when we do get to spend time together, even whether it's Valentine's Day or not, we usually watch horror movies. eat vegan pizza, and usually finish it off with, I get dairy-free Ben & Jerry's, he gets a regular Ben & Jerry's, and that is like the perfect night for us. So if this Valentine's Day could be that perfect, I would be a very happy girl. So we don't really do anything too extravagant, you know?
What is your
favorite horror movie? What's your favorite horror movie?
We're big on I guess
that's a tough one.
We're big on like those like Netflix like hidden gems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
kind of like the cheesy B movies.
No, not even
like that.
There's actually like a lot of good stuff on there that never hit theaters. Like just like oh, you know, they have
okay, so kind of like the well done, just not popular or like widely known, but really good.
Like cult, like, you know, cult classics, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we like for Halloween we tried to watch horror movies every single day. It was tough because we were, again, always traveling, but we watched a lot of like 80s horror movies, and those are always fun to watch too. So I think we like every genre of horror basically. What did we see? Yeah, we go like on Thursday nights, we go to a local theater in Buffalo that plays like older horror movies, and we saw Zombie. Zombie was amazing to see in theaters. I don't know if you guys
Reanimator.
Reanimator, yeah.
It's kind of like they show the old cult classics, and it's like a growing community. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I grew up. I was a kid in the '80s, so I love those '80s horrors.
Yeah, they're the best. There's weirdly something so comforting about '80s horror. I don't know if maybe I'm just a weirdo, but there's just something comforting about watching horror movies from the '80s.
Yeah, there were a lot of brilliant directors back then.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they all went on to like do different stuff. Like we remember the one we watched Halloween 4. Halloween 4 is amazing. It's super good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com. I'm so happy to see the evolution of the Allie character and you being able to show everybody now what you can do in the ring. And someone mentioned mixed tag matches, and not maybe necessarily those, but how much does the change and that you kind of opened up things and you're able to do more in the ring, how much does that open up to new scenarios for you, and especially working with your husband?
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's been very, I feel like I say this a lot because I've had a lot of people ask me how I feel about Allie, especially when I first came in. A lot of people, I think, especially people that follow me on the indies, were very irked that I was tripping over my own feet getting in the ring and stuff like that. But it has been really cool to, again, be on this journey and to start sort of over again and then slowly become this wrestler. It's been kind of cool and a little bit humbling too. But now I feel like, now that I'm kind of like running with it, I feel like there's so many girls in the division that I would like to work with, Taya being one of them. We had an opportunity to work together in Mexico for Lucha World Cup, and we were on the same team, but we never got to actually wrestle. So we've never really been in the ring together. So I feel like that would be really cool. But I feel like there's so many more opportunities now for me now that I'm actually wrestling, and feuds that I would love to have in the division. And I've talked about this before. I would love to see the tag titles come back for the girls. I think that we have a really solid roster now, and possibly with a couple more additions, we could actually have that come to life again. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I just feel like there's so many more opportunities now that I'm able to get in there and I can do my thing.
So we're going to see some glimpses of the old cherry bomb in 2018.
Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to ask your request has been received.
The writer asked that I do not mention his name, his media outlet, or even the country he lives in.
Very secretive.
Well, I think I understand when you hear the first part of his question, you'll understand why. Allie, it's been great here listening to you today. However, all I want right now is a big, fat, greasy, juicy cheeseburger.
Ew.
Then he continues, That said, I'll at least ask a question that you can both answer. What are your thoughts about the Super Bowl on Sunday?
This guy's all over the map.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, unnamed, unknown person that wants a big greasy cheeseburger. There are, believe it or not, options out there that taste very similar to real beef burgers. One of them is the Beyond Burger, which is now available at TGI Fridays. No, I don't work for TGI Fridays, but I was just really excited to hear that they were released. So I encourage you to just try it. You don't have to love it, but just try it and then get back to me. Okay, the Super Bowl. Straight up, guys, I don't watch sports. I don't really like them very much. So this probably is a better question for BS.
I'm not a huge football guy. Being from Buffalo, I'm a Bills fan, and that's about it. So once the Bills are out, I don't really follow that much. I feel like this answer is probably going to catch me a lot of heat, but it's tough. I like the story of the city of Philadelphia. They're so passionate about everything. It would be really cool to see them pull it off. But at the same time, here's where the problem lies: is I really like Tom Brady. I enjoy greatness, and I think we're watching greatness right now. He's he's hands down one of the best football players of all time. And I just like his work ethic, and I like following the guy. So to me, if the Patriots pull it off, I think it'd be pretty sweet.
Hey, afternoon, guys. It's Alan Wu from the sportscourier.com. I have a general question for both of you guys about the state of the business, because this has been one of the colder winters on record. Is that creating a kind of a burden? Is it a little bit harder for everyone to, if not stay in shape, but to perform, because it's been colder than it usually been for the last few years?
If anything, maybe the only thing that affects is travel. You know what I mean? It's a little harder to get around when the weather's garbage.
Yeah, that's true. I got hit with that awful flu that's going around. Yeah. It was the last day of taping, and I woke up with a fever and the chills, and it was awful. And then we had to fly home the next day, but our flight was we missed our flight, and it was, oh my God, I sat in the airport I think we were there for 5 or 6 hours with the flu. It was awful. So yeah, I guess the weather has part to blame for that. But
yeah.
And in terms of staying in shape, I don't know. I'm like a fitness addict, so it doesn't matter what the weather's like or how cold it is. I just go to the gym because I have to wear spandex,
I guess that's a good point. I didn't really think of it that way, but yeah, with Allie just coming down with the flu, the last day Impact tapings, and then even in this area, I just did a show in Canada this past weekend, and two guys on the show were performing with the flu. So yeah, I
feel like everybody has it. It's awful.
Yeah, it does kind of make it harder on people.
Stay safe, you guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Interesting question about the cold weather. I never really thought about that, but there were certainly several people, myself included, who were coughing and not really enjoying the weather in Orlando when we were just down there.
Even Florida. It was cold. I was down there for New Year's Eve, and I went to Disney with Rosemary, and we were freezing. It was so cold. It was in the 40s.
I did hear in Orlando from Josh. I'll give him blame because I actually didn't like it. There's I think it's Starbucks called a medicine ball.
Oh yeah. I just put it over to somebody yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was horrible. He loved it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a lifesaver, man.
I just didn't do it.
I get it without honey, and I think it's pretty good.
Did you get the mint in there?
I got everything. I think I threw about 95% of it out.
Oh, bummer.
No, it didn't do it for me.
Gotcha.
Maybe that's why I was sick for 10 days.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about, tell us about how you guys met and, how you guys kind of fell in love and working together on the indies and how that affected your relationship and brought you guys closer.
Oh, backstory?
Yeah.
Sure.
So we met, I want to say it was St. Thomas, Ontario.
I think St. Thomas.
Yeah, and that was, I want to say 2008, right? Around 2008.
Yeah.
But we were both doing our own thing, and it wasn't until 2012 that we sort of were both available and we hung out
we knew
once.
each other.
Yeah, we knew each other for years, and we ended up like talking for like 2 or 3 hours about horror movies and music. And it was like, you ever see like Step Brothers when they're like, did we just become best friends? Yep. It was sort of like that. Like it was just like, am I wrong, or am I telling a weird story?
No, yeah, we knew each other for about 4 years before we ever actually got together, and then like it's for us, I always feel like it's the exact opposite. Like, you know, a lot of times you hear the story of just, you know, it's so hard, like you travel so much and you're apart from each other, and like for us, it's the exact opposite. Like that's like, I don't know. For me, it was always being with somebody who wasn't in the wrestling business. It was tough, and then like now with me and Allie together, like because we're passionate about the same thing. You know what I mean? Like she understands what I'm going through. I understand what she's going through. And, you know, now if we do travel, that way we get to appreciate the time that we're together more. And, you know, we understand what each other are talking about when we're you know, when we're talking about what we do. And, you know, say then, you know, we have such passion for fitness, and, you know, we go to the same gym, and it's like we do everything, so it all works. I couldn't imagine being with somebody who didn't have the same passions as I did.
Yeah, and even like working together, like one of the things that we were a little bit weird about was like actually being like working together like in the ring. You know, we tried to keep that separate for a while, and it just so happened that we got thrown together for something, and we realized like right away that we had chemistry. And you know, and then we had the opportunity to work for CZW for, I think we were there for about 4 years, and everything sort of started moving for us once we got together and worked together and encouraged each other. And you know, he brings a side of me out that I didn't have, and I bring a side of him out that he might not have realized he had. And I feel like that dynamic has really helped us both so much professionally, as long, you know, together with obviously building a healthy relationship. But we're just a team. Like, we're a solid team. I consider him my best friend, and I like to think he thinks of me as his. Maybe I come second to Andy. I don't know.
That's funny. I always forget about that. Like when we first got together, that was like engraved in my brain, was because I had never been with anybody in wrestling before, and when me and her got together, it was I was like, we're not gonna work together. You know what I mean? She's not gonna valet me. We're not gonna wrestle each other. Like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. And I was like, I wanted to avoid it. And then it's like, someone put us in like a faction together in Toronto, and it went really well. And then we got this, you know, and then the CZW stuff started where we did a whole together, and it was, and then, you know, to fast forward.
And then from that, it went to House of Hardcore too. Like, we had an opportunity to work together in House of Hardcore and work against or work with Tommy Dreamer and Mickey James. Like, that was huge for us, you know.
Now it's the exact. Where it's like, if I have to wrestle like just by myself, I'm like, oh, it's just me. Like, I can't come out with Allie or nothing. I get like bummed out. It's like boring.
This is Hannibal from the Hannibal TV, and I have a question for Allie. You're from Toronto, and there was some talk of the next set of Impact tapings being in Toronto in the spring. Do you know if that's still in the plans, and would you like to wrestle for Impact in Toronto?
I mean, I certainly hope so. At this point, I heard the same thing. I haven't heard like concrete confirmation on that. But would I like to wrestle in Toronto? Of course. Like, it's my city. I get so excited every time I get to go home. Actually, I find any reason to go to Toronto, like, at all. If somebody asks me, like, oh, can you come do this? I'm like, is it in Toronto? Yep, I'll be there. So I absolutely love going home, and to be able to wrestle for Impact in my hometown would be such a cool experience. I have so many like of my friends and family that wanted to go to Ottawa, but they, you know, weren't able to make it. So to be able to do it in Toronto and have my friends and family and everybody come watch would be so cool. So I'm keeping my fingers and toes crossed that it happens in April.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from experience, like she was like ecstatic to wrestle at a pay-per-view Bound for Glory in Ottawa. Just, you know, in Canada in general, she got Canadian gear made, and it was like a big that was a big opportunity for her. So now, like, if she could actually do it in like her home city of Toronto, like, it'll be really, really cool.
Yeah, I'll definitely be a little bit weepy, I think. Just a smidge.
This one's for both Allie and Braxton. This is Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com. You both had established names and personalities for years before this. What was it like making the transition to having completely new names and identities with Impact Wrestling?
I will be honest. It was difficult. It was a challenge because there are parts of the character of Cherry Bomb that I really identified with, and I mean, I've been wrestling now for 13, almost 14 years, and Cherry Bomb has been my name since I started, since I was 18. So to have that identity for such a long time, and then to walk into a new company and have that identity sort of taken away and been given something else was difficult. It was hard. But I learned very quickly that this was an opportunity for me to explore myself as a performer, as a talent. I was able to sort of, you know, it's not every day that you're handed a new slate and have to perform a different way and then have a long story and then have a payoff. So I've been like really blessed and fortunate to have that story with Maria and all of those things. But initially, it was really, really hard to let go of Cherry Bomb. I mean, she's still in my heart. She's still there. But it was a challenge at first, for sure.
I kind of like, we always joke that like everybody in wrestling has three names. You have your real name, you have your name from the indies, and then you have your TV name. So it's like, you know, they all kind of get like mishmashed. And then sometimes there's four, because then sometimes people have like a nickname too. But like, I don't know, for me, it wasn't that bad because luckily for me, it's like it wasn't really much of like a gimmick change. You know, it's like I was Pepper Parks on the indies, and then they changed it to Braxton Sutter. You know, it's not like I went from a gimmick of being a postman, and then I went to a gimmick of now I don't know. Now I was in like a tag team, and work construction or something. I don't like it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like a big drastic change. So like, you know, the name thing, I just kind of, you know, I kind of.
You embraced it, I think, right off the hop.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I embraced it, and like I appreciated it because I had been Pepper Parks for so long, and I'd been fighting for a job and for a contract and for an opportunity on television. And when I got it, I was like, you know, it was like a badge of honor or something like that. It's like, oh, you know, now my name's Braxton Sutter, and I'm going to make this work. And you know, if anything, I was actually really excited about it.
To follow up with Allie, are you going to, or have you integrated aspects of that Cherry Bomb character that you identified with presently into your character as Allie on Impact?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now that I'm wrestling a lot more and I'm able to sort of do more in the ring. Absolutely. I mean, the aggressive, like for anybody that, you know, followed me on the indies, Cherry Bomb, I was a little more aggressive and a little bit nastier. But it's been fun to sort of add in that aggression in my matches that I wasn't able to do before. And I think the character of Cherry Bomb was a lot more confident than Allie, and it's been fun to sort of play with Allie developing into having more confidence and having that little Cherry Bomb streak in her. So hopefully I'll be able to show a little bit more of that side eventually.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Allie and Braxton. It's Mike Johnson from PW Insider. How are you guys?
Hello. Good. How are you?
Good. So I got one question for each of you. I'll ask it, and then you guys can jump in. Allie, you know, your presentation from the point you came to Impact, as you mentioned, was completely different from Cherry Bomb. Talk a little bit about what it was like working on the vignettes and finding the voice of the character as you kind of reboot yourself. And Braxton, you were originally trained by Les Thatcher, so I'm sure you have 1,000,001 great stories about what it was like with Les breaking you down and telling you everything that you did is wrong and how to fix it. So I just wanted to ask those of each of you.
Okay. Do you want me to go first, BS?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is a great question, by the way. Love it. So Allie, okay, so when I first came in and they sort of told me, like, this is what you're going to be doing. The first couple of vignettes or the first couple of pre-tapes that we did, I was probably more nervous than I've ever been in my entire life. Like, I felt so out of my element. I didn't know how to identify with the character. I didn't know, like, how to present her as authentic and convincing. Like, there was a lot of it was hard, especially coming from the indies where we do pre-tapes and, you know, interviews and stuff like that, but this was such a completely different character from what I had done for so long. So it was challenging at first, but thankfully, you know, I got to work a lot with Dave Lagana, and he really believed in the character, and he trusted me with this persona that he believed so much in. And, you know, he encouraged me to watch different things. I mean, I watched a lot of different comedians, different TV shows, to try to, like, I don't want to say steal things from them, but just to sort of get, like, better mannerisms and the tone of my voice down and how I enunciate things. Like, it took a lot of work and a lot of, like, research to get Allie sort of the way that I wanted her, and then, you know, the way that Lagana wanted her too, and then sort of integrating that together. So it was challenging. It was hard, but I feel like I say this all the time. I learned so much doing all of that. I learned so much about developing a character and being confident in a character that I didn't have before Impact. And it actually, like, sparked something in me where I realized I actually really loved doing the acting side of it that I didn't really get to do before. And it sort of even now I get really excited every single time we do a pre-tape, because I feel like it gives me an opportunity to grow the character and work on my own acting abilities too. So sorry, that was a really long-winded answer, but it's been a challenging process, but it's been a fun process too. Do you want to answer, BS?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I always say I'm really, really happy I trained with Les, because Les is very, very good with teaching people from the ground up as far as, like, basics. And that's where I think that's a lot of the problem is today, is a lot of people they don't learn the basics first, and they kind of jump ahead. They learn to run before they learn to crawl. But yeah, Les has, like, a very old school mentality where, yeah, you're gonna hear, let's say, 99% bad stuff and maybe 1% good stuff if you're lucky. But his whole mentality behind that is because that's how you get better. And, you know what I mean? If you develop an ego and you think you're doing all, like, because nobody is good at wrestling when you first start, especially, you know, I mean, even if you do catch on pretty well, everybody's terrible, at least for the first couple years. So, you know, if you start getting a big head on yourself and you think you're catching on quick, you're doing great, you're not going to get better. So Les definitely enjoys running into the ground every chance he gets. But like I said, it's just that's his way. That's his way of going about things. Like I can remember, he was at this point we had, like, 2 separate classes, and he was talking to the class of, like, newer students, and he was just kind of running them down and, you know, telling them how they can't be lazy. And one of the examples was he was saying, you know, you're not going to get good at this through osmosis. You know what I mean? You can't hang out next to Jamie Noble and learn how to work. And then he said something along the lines of, like, you know, you can't be around Pepper and get his abs. But the thing was, I wasn't there when he said that. He would never say that to my face. He would never. I never, you know, when somebody told me he said that, I was like, oh wow, really? Like that's awesome. But he would, like, that's just the way he worked. He would never, you know, say that to your face. It was, you know. But then, like I said, this isn't a knock on Les, because it's actually a really good way to train people. Is, you know, if you come back from a match, you know, you're going to get better. But, you know, if someone just tells you about all the good stuff, no, you need to hear about the bad stuff so you can fix that. So that's just kind of how Les' old school mentality works.
And if I can just like interject something really quickly, and this isn't even, you didn't ask me this, but I'm just going to tell you. So one of the things that really, really impresses me, and that I didn't even realize about BS, is how phenomenal he is as a teacher. He trains, sorry, I'm going to talk about you for a second, BS, but he trains Wednesday nights in Buffalo at a ring here at Grapplers Anonymous, and he has how many guys? 15 maybe? Maybe about 15 guys, would you say?
On Wednesdays, we usually have about 15, 16 guys.
15, 16 guys. I watch him train these guys, and he's so good and patient, and, I mean, it's a side of him that I didn't even know he had, and I feel like he learned a lot of how to train somebody so well through Les. I think training with Les taught him, like you said, so much from the ground up that I watch him teach these students, and they all come from like different backgrounds. They've all, either some of them are more experienced, some of them are brand new, and just to watch him train them has been really, really exciting. And now they go with him to shows, and they all hop in a van, and just watching him mentor these kids is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen personally.
Hey, thanks, Boo. You're the best.
Hi guys, it's Dan here from TWS Radio in the UK. As we've had so much talk, tonight about food, we thought we'd ask you the question, which is just running wild at the UK at the moment: pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh heck yes, yes.
Is that a new thing in the UK?
We've been spearheading it for a while now. We've even got hashtag Pineapplegate, and it has split so many people.
What?
That was
pineapple is so good on pizza. It's bomb.
I worked at before I moved to wrestling school. This is in like 1998 to 1999. I delivered pizzas for a place called Just Pizza, and they had over 50 kinds of pizza, and they had Hawaiian pizza, which has like cherries and pineapples and walnuts, and it's awesome. It's incredible. It tastes like, I always say it tastes like candy pizza. It's super good.
So do you vote
so
yes
you'd be a yes
for pineapple
then?
on pizza?
Oh yeah, that's a big yes.
Yep, yes for me.
You are in the minority currently.
Really? I feel like maybe they haven't tried it. They haven't tried the vegan version. That's why.
Yeah, a lot of people hear it.
Your new PAC president, Ed Nordholm, is a no. So you may want to consider that.
Really?
Oh, really? Ed? Come on.
I'll talk to Ed right now. I'll ask him about that.
Did we get
Thank you, guys.
Hey, before you hang up, did you get a report on Scott and Don while they were over in the UK? Are they yes or no on pizza, pineapple?
Scott's a no. Don's a yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Don knows what's up.
Yeah, this is going to be a good combo.
No, good. I'll throw Scott under the bus as well. Did you ask him about red velvet pancakes with extra frosting? Make sure you ask him about that when you talk to him.
We will do.
Thanks a lot, man.
Hey, this is BQ from the Impact Lounge again. My question is for the both of you, and it's regarding the wedding angle from last year. Very successful angle that eventually came to a culmination, but with KM and Congo Kong at the pre-show at Time 15. Was there any frustration on your part that perhaps you didn't get the payoff you were building towards with Mike and Maria leaving the company? It seemed like the Allie and Braxton characters were going to take that next step, and then a wrench was kind of thrown in it. You guys were off TV for a little bit. Was there any frustration with that?
Yeah, I mean, we both of us always say that. I mean, that wedding, a real quick backstory on it was that was one of the longest loops we ever did. We filmed at Universal in Orlando it was either like 8 or 9 days, that loop. So it was real long, and the wedding was the very last thing that happened on the very last day. So, obviously the crew was like pretty tired, and we'd all been building up to this moment. And then when we filmed the wedding, that was the biggest crowd that they'd drawn all week. Like, cause they took the ropes down, and they had a whole setup. And they even told us that, like, employees at Universal had heard they were doing a wrestling wedding, so like employees were in there like just watching. And I know, like, me and Ellie both, like, for me, that's at least like a top 3 moment of my wrestling career ever. Like, it was, you know, because there was such build up to it, and it came off so well. We were both so happy about it. And then, obviously, that was the end of the loop. And then by the time we came back, Mike and Maria had left, and then it was a new creative team, so things went in like a different direction, which, you know, obviously, yeah, we wish we had gotten to do more with Mike and Maria, and, you know, things would have went in a different way. But I don't know. I was really happy with the way the wedding came off.
Really, really proud of it. I think what you know, I'm just going to touch on this for a second. Like, it was so loud. I mean, we could barely even get our lines out. The crowd was crazy, just on fire, and every single person in that segment just killed it. Like, I couldn't look at certain people because if I did, I knew I was going to crack because everybody was just hilarious. And I always go back to this. Like, Madison Rain is the one that wrote that segment, and I feel like she doesn't get the credit she deserves for it because she wrote an amazing segment, and she really trusted all of us to sort of, you know, bring this piece of writing to life, and we were all so proud of it. And yeah, I mean, like, sure, I wish we could have, you know, maybe had that mixed tag match, or maybe I could have had a one-on-one with Maria. But one of the cool things about wrestling is, like, even if it doesn't happen now, I wouldn't doubt that it might happen down the road. You know, a lot of things in wrestling come full circle, and it wouldn't surprise me if at one time we're all in the same, you know, ring together, company together, and get to tell that story again, or pick it up where we left off. So, yeah, in some respects, like, yeah, it's kind of disappointing that, you know, the wedding was just such a big moment for everybody, and then it didn't feel like the end of the chapter. Truthfully, I feel like the book is still open, and hopefully one day we can finish telling that story.
Yeah, I mean, for us, you know, we did all we could. But, you know, the stuff that we were in control of, we knocked it out of the park. The stuff afterwards, we're not in control of that. And it's, you know, we nailed it. The whole thing's available on YouTube. It'll, you know what I mean? It'll be there forever. So it was, yeah, it was a really cool moment for, like, both of our careers.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Jeremy Bennett with Sportskeeda, and this question's for Allie. Being a vegan, are there any challenges in terms of training as a pro wrestler?
Truthfully, not really. It was tough at first. Not so much the training, but more so of, like, the traveling and getting used to sort of what my options were, what I could eat, and what had, like, there's milk and eggs and so many things, like things you wouldn't even like think have dairy or some form of animal byproduct in them. So that was a bit challenging. But the actual training, I was pretty lucky to find a coach. His name is Mark Williams, and I've worked with him for the last, it's been, I think, a year and a half. I remember it was after one of the loops, and I was feeling really run down and tired, and I was sore, and I just kind of felt like I didn't really know what direction to go in terms of, like, fitness. And I reached out to him, and we started training, and he upped all of my my protein and my carbs, and he has pushed me through workouts that I couldn't even imagine pushing myself through. And I've trained kickboxing with him now, and he really changed my life in terms of, like my fitness and goals and things like that. So it was a transition for me, being a vegan and being an athlete and all of those things combined. But with his help,
the biggest thing was Mark got you to eat more.
Yeah, he got me to eat more. That was a problem for me. I just wasn't eating enough. And he was like, "You need to eat a lot more than you're eating." And once I did that, I noticed a huge change in my body. So it wasn't so much as the vegan part. I think it was more of just like how to fuel my body for the activities that I was putting it through, if that makes sense.
I didn't want to say this.
Oh, go ahead.
I say this earlier. Yeah, like a different side of the spectrum, I guess, from like the I don't know, the meathead bodybuilder perspective. But like, times are like I always say, like we live in amazing times right now, and like even for traveling, I mean, even as far as like healthy eating, like things have gotten so much better, and it's cool. I'm not vegan, but it's cool to see for her more vegan options now, and then even for us, like just see more Chipotle's at airports instead of McDonald's. You know what I mean? Or just there's a lot more like health, like eating healthy on the road is way easier now than it was 10 years ago, and you can see it growing and growing and growing. So like it's really cool.
Yeah, I've noticed, especially I live in Nebraska, and there's a lot of places now. Like there's a place called Eat Fit Go. So basically, they put together like a healthy package for you to be able to eat on the run. One quick follow-up, Al. You started wrestling in 2005. I don't know if I caught that earlier or not. I know you said you became vegetarian when you were 14. What point did you become vegan?
So I actually started training in 2004, believe it or not, which feels like an eternity. I can't believe how long it's been. But anyways, so sorry, what was the question? When did I become vegan?
Yeah, was it in the middle of your wrestling career, or?
No, so I went vegetarian when I was 14, and then I started going vegan around 2014. So so it was a slow process for me. I tried to cut it all out at once, and it was challenging. So then rather than doing that, I just slowly started eliminating things, which I highly recommend for anybody that's considering going vegan, is to take it slow. And it's not about being perfect. It's not about being the perfect vegan. It's about making healthy choices and making the choices that you want for your body. So yeah, it was around 2014 I started cutting things out, and then and honestly, I haven't looked back, and I haven't felt better. Like, I think a lot of people will say this once they go vegan, like my skin, my hair, my nails, like my body, like it just feels so much better. But I do stress that it's really important to research the foods that you should be eating, learn how to cook them, learn how to get comfortable, eating and cooking with tofu and seitan and tempeh and all those things, because it makes the transition so much easier once you actually know what you're doing and how to navigate it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, this is BQ from the Impact Lounge again, sneaking back in. There was a storyline going on with, either of you can answer this. There was a story going on with you guys previous to, I believe it's previous to Bound for Glory, that never ultimately materialized, and perhaps it had to do with the change of management. Could we see, I don't know if you're on liberty to speak about it, but could we see that storyline pick up again in the future, or will it go a new direction? And basically what I'm alluding to is the angle where Braxton was maybe showing some jealousy.
Yeah.
Well, BS is definitely going to be on upcoming episodes. So we can't really give anything away, but I wouldn't say that it's dropped. Right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. The storyline was growing, and then it kind of dropped off, but it's getting ready to pick back up here shortly. So yeah, please check it out.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun stuff coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, man.
Hey guys, Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com again. Before I get to my question, just based on this call today, I think Impact Coffee would be a great product for the company to introduce and have you guys endorse it.
Now we're talking.
Allie's Coffee. Allie, what's a good name? Bunny Power Coffee. Whew, done.
I literally, as you said that, I just finished my Starbucks coffee. The only if we're gonna make it, it's got to be strong, man. Because Starbucks is just like a cult, and I'm totally a part of it now. I have the apps, the whole thing, and I can't drink anything else because it's a waste of time. It's like drinking iced tea, and I'm just still tired. So like,
the best is he didn't drink coffee before we started dating. He never drank coffee, and I totally ruined him. I brought him over to the dark side.
Not as much, but now it's just bad. So yeah, if we're gonna make Impact BS and Allie coffee, it's
better be dark. It better be strong.
It's gonna taste like mud, and it's gonna be real strong.
I have to ask you,
question.
I have to ask you, Braxton.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's the coffee. It's the caffeine. Braxton, it seems like now you're back and healthy and ready to roll for 2018, and it seems like you're also going to be in that main event picture. Who are some of your targets there in Impact Wrestling this year, and how do you match up with them?
One thing you can always say about Impact is like, for as long as they've been around, like the roster is always like top notch. And for me, I don't know why, the first one that always comes to mind is Eli Drake. Eli trained at the same school I did. We didn't come up together, but he trained at the same school I did, and I was there his early years, and I saw him turn into what he is today. And it's really cool to see like him evolve and get as good and be as good as he is. And I always knew. It's funny, me and a bunch of guys were talking like when he first started with Impact. We were just like, yeah, he'll be champion. He'll be champion of Impact. And then when it happened, it was cool to say I called it. So I'd really like to professionally wrestle Eli Drake. I'm a big fan of like Alberto Del Rio's work right now. Or I'm sorry, Patron's work. And so Patron would be another guy. And let me think. EC3 is another. And I would say Eli, the top three that always come to mind, always EC3, Eli Drake, Patron, and then I'm gonna add one more, Moose. I've never gotten to wrestle with Moose before, so those would be my top guys.
Actually, before we move on to this next caller, I do have to ask. You hit on the Starbucks. What about Dunkin' Donuts? And let's ask Allie. And when we were up in Ottawa, and if we ever go back to Canada, what about Tim Hortons?
Okay. Well, first of all, Dunkin'. That's what I feel about Dunkin'. Okay, Tim Hortons. I used to love Timmy's. I was, I'm a proud Canadian girl. Loved my Tim Hortons coffee. The Tim Hortons here in Buffalo is god-awful. It's gross. It tastes very watered down. I don't know what they do to it, but it doesn't taste like Canadian Tim Hortons. So for now, I'm firmly behind, and I hate to say this, Starbucks coffee. It disgusts me that I'm saying this, honestly.
Get a cold brew coffee from Dunkin' Donuts, and then get a cold brew coffee from Starbucks. It's like
you can totally tell.
It's insane. And then I feel bad saying this. She just said the same thing. But I've been in Buffalo for like the growth of Tim Hortons. Like everyone was so excited when it first came down from Canada. I don't know if it's now. Maybe I'm getting a little deep here, but I don't know now if it's like now they're literally on every block. There's literally
they're everywhere, and they're gross.
There will be a Tim Hortons in a gas station, and then 2 blocks up the road there's a separate Tim Hortons chain itself. And it's just I can't. We drove up to Canada the other day, and we didn't have time to stop at Starbucks, so we just got Tim Hortons and we filled up with gas. I drank the whole thing with a shot of espresso in it. We got to Toronto, and I was exhausted, and I had to go get a Starbucks coffee. Yeah. It sucks, man.
Ross, can you tell we're very passionate about coffee?
Yeah, but we're going to have a little disagreement here because I'd probably go Dunkin' and then Timmy Hortons and then Starbucks.
Wow. You know what, though? I will say this.
I do want to say, though, because I like supporting Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons in Canada is not bad. Tim Hortons in Canada.
Yeah, it's better. It's better. Yeah.
Yes.
That was one of the treats of in Ottawa. I had a Tim Hortons about a 3-minute walk away from the hotel. I was liking that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, Jeremy Bennett again with Sportskeeda. But first off, I just wanted to make a comment for Braxton. I've been following you since the Pepper Park days in ROH, and
thanks, man.
I would definitely love to see you and Eli Drake go at it in 2018. So I want to see that happen for sure.
I appreciate that.
Me too.
Thank you.
This is for both you guys. Now that Impact has gone back to the four-sided ring, what are the differences for you guys competing in the four-sided ring as opposed to the six-sided ring? And are there things that you like better or not as much when it comes to working now again in a four-sided ring?
Well, okay, so I obviously, I prefer the four-sided ring myself. I think a lot of us probably do. But weirdly, like, because I was working in a six-sided ring for a while, it started feeling like almost normal, so that when I started doing indie shows and it was a four-sided ring, it just felt weird because I was used to the six-sided. But the four-sided ring is definitely, like, it's more comfortable to work in, and anybody that's, like, climbed the ropes and got to the top in a six-sided ring will tell you it's the most awkward. Like, you have to stand like a certain way or else you'll literally just fall off. And I can't believe I'm even telling this story because it's so embarrassing. I didn't realize, like, how far away the ropes are from the turnbuckle. It's hard to explain this, but I got up to do a high cross body, and I'm so glad that I didn't fall, but I nearly fell off the top rope. Like, it was one of those moments in, like, a cartoon when someone's like, what? And, like, they're about to wipe out. Like, that's literally what happened. So to say I'm happy that we have the four-sided ring back is an understatement. I'm quite happy about that.
Aren't your legs a little further apart on the six-sided ring? Is that kind of what the
That's
difference
it. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. You articulated that much better than what I just tried to explain. Yeah, further apart. They're further apart, so it's just an awkward stand. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, and I've never been close to the top rope ever, so.
Hey, like, I don't want to, like, I mean, I think everybody is happy that the four-sided ring is back. I mean, I don't want to completely crap on the six-sided ring. Like, you know, it's not bad, and you don't.
No, it's not bad. It's not as awkward as it might feel.
Yeah, it's not. You know, you know, a lot of people get nervous about it. I mean, you can get in a six-sided ring, and you know, you pick it up pretty quick. It's not too bad.
And it's big.
But
it's so big.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know, the four-sided ring. It's just, I don't know. I feel like that's what pro wrestling is supposed to be in, and it's just so much more comfortable. And then, I mean, I think I've even heard AJ Styles say this too. Like, it's just the six-sided ring. I don't know if it's because of the more corners and it's being pulled tightly or something, but it's just a lot harder. Like, I remember when I
it's literally like hitting cement. It's literally like hitting a cement floor.
As in running the ropes.
No, like taking a bump.
No,
a
bump on the mat. It's like when we first started there. I remember, like, I took some falls, and I thought I was just kind of, like, out of shape. I was like, man, I'm really out of breath, and, like this is not, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I got to get in a ring more often. So, like, that's when I started going more often to the ring here in Buffalo. And, like, the first time I went back after we got back from tapings, like, I took a couple bumps, and I was like, oh, this is fine. I was like, it's just the ring in Orlando at Impact is just really stiff. Like,
it's stiff.
Yeah.
Like, stiff. Like,
yeah. So for the four-sided ring all around, it is just way more comfortable.
Yeah, because I mean, not many people learn pro wrestling in a six-sided ring. Everybody learns it in a four-sided.
Yeah,
definitely. It's a comfort thing.
Cool. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, this is BQ with one more question, and my question is for Allie. We've had this conversation before about the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. I've had a conversation with Sienna. She's in support of it too. Now, I don't want to BS anyone, no pun intended. I really want to see the titles back with Impact before that concept appears on another television show. Do you think there's any possibility we're going to see the titles return?
I mean, I've been pretty vocal about this. I would love to see them come back. I love tag team wrestling. I tagged a lot on the indies, and I found that had this like love for it that I didn't realize I had. I think the dynamic of tag teams is just so much fun, and I feel like our roster is like the knockouts specifically. We have a really solid roster. I think maybe if we got a couple more girls in there, we'd have enough to really have a solid tag team division. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like the more people are vocal about it, maybe the more it'll inspire, them to come back. So, fingers crossed. I say never. I certainly hope they come back.
Hey guys, Ryan Bowman from thegorillaposition.com. One more time. You guys obviously have worked together for a while now. Do you see yourselves as wrestling lifers? Do you think you'll work together as a couple in wrestling forever? Or is there going to be a point or a goal that you reach where you both say, okay, we're done, we're ready to go home now?
I mean, for me personally,
we plan on being married forever. So
well, I thought that was a given. I'm talking about, are you going to be ready for the wrestling business forever?
Yeah, exactly. It's a given. All right, you're stuck with me. Okay, deal with it.
I don't know. I'm 37 now, and I still feel pretty good. Like as long as I'm wrestling and as long as I'm with her, like I'm pretty sure she's going to be involved with what I'm doing. So for me, it'll probably be like a forever thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like I can only speak for myself personally in terms of how long I want to wrestle. Like, I love wrestling. I still get butterflies, and I get really, really excited before every match. I mean, if you're with me backstage, you know that I'm usually pacing around, and I get nervous every single time I go out. And that feeling has stayed with me over the last, 13 years. If that feeling goes away and I'm just not feeling like I love it anymore, or I'm feeling like it's time for the next chapter, then I'll make that decision based on how I feel. But right now, I still really love it, and I love. Oh my gosh, that's our dog Hulk Hogan. Really sorry about that. But I love working with my husband. I love the dynamic that we have. So yeah, absolutely. As long as I'm wrestling, I think in some capacity we'll be working together.
Alrighty, guys. I know I told you it'd be about 30 to 40 minutes, and we're a drop over that. So thank you both very much. I will apologize to David down in Australia, New Zealand. I apologize on that, but I know it's the middle of the night for you. But everybody else, if you're not going for lunch at this point, or dinner, or wherever you're at, you're never going to eat. I've heard more about food and coffee on this teleconference than any one we've had. So,
listen, Ross, I'm passionate.
What did you promise me, Allie? That you're making me a vegan meal? Do I understand that?
I will make you. Listen, Ross. From the bottom of my, I'm telling you this the truth. I will make you a vegan pizza with maple syrup on the crust, and I swear you will try it, and your whole life will change. You'll say, "Why have I been eating any other kind of pizza?"
Well, I'm from Chicago, so we've, that's deep dish pizza. You
have
to live up to.
Pizza.
This is on a whole other level, Ross. I promise. You're gonna love it.
All right. Well, we will open it up for a final thought from each of you. Allie, take us home. Your final thought.
Well, first, I just want to thank everybody for calling in and asking some really fun questions that are different, out of the box. As you guys can probably tell, I do love talking about food. I love talking about veganism, coffee, three of my favorite things, but no, I'm just kidding. Sort of. But no, I just want to thank everybody for all of the outreach and support I've had over the last, few weeks. People have been really excited about me wrestling more. And I do just really quickly want to touch on something that I posted about yesterday regarding mental health and mental health issues. It's something that I'm pretty passionate about, and I just wanted to thank everybody for reaching out. And I posted something on Instagram about depression and anxiety, and the amount of people that had commented and told their stories and then supported each other in the comment section was just so amazing. And I just want to keep encouraging people to talk openly about mental health issues, and let's just try to break that stigma that's surrounding them, because it doesn't need to be there. You know, we all go through stuff. So that's my rant. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it.
BS, what's the final thought? Take us home.
I was just gonna say this is like this was my first one of these, and this was really awesome. Like I didn't know what to expect. It's Thursday afternoon at we started at 1 in the afternoon, and I did not expect this many calls. Like Allie said, thank you for the out of the box questions. Like a lot of people called back numerous times. That was super cool. Like this whole thing. Calls from New Zealand. I appreciate the comments on the podcast, Kicking Ass with Jesse and Andy. This was like a real, I get bored very easily, and I've been very bored lately, and this was like a really nice pick-me-up. This was great. Thank you.
I will tell you, BS, though, I think I'd rather go for a cheeseburger and fries with you, but I will have the meal with Allie because I committed
Ross,
to it.
Wait till I'm off the call, Ross. Come on. You don't want to
Come on, I'm trying to get a meal from both of you two. Come on, you gotta work both angles.
Get more bang for your buck.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, again, media, next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Austin Aries will be on the call next Thursday, starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And I appreciate BS and Allie very much for a very entertaining, very stomach-filling conference call. Very, very informative.
I was going to say, it's so informative. All that food and coffee talk is great.
We appreciate you, Ross.
You guys. Thanks, guys, very much. And we'll talk to the media next week.